Happy 4th of July, GoCo! Well, you guys have already experienced it, but we're recording on the holiday for episode 404. This week, CB and Alyssa help me answer questions from the community. As usual, most are video game related. In news, a 2003 game is getting remade for the second time, and I may or may not get on a soapbox this week as well. You've been warned. New games we played this week include Hourglass and Police Autobahn Simulator 3. This is the Gaming Outsider. Greetings, programs, and welcome to episode 404 of The Gaming Outsider, a video game podcast with a focus on our incredible community. It's Tuesday, July 4th. I'm your host, Scott Clark, and joining me are my friends, Mr. Chris Behrensmeyer.
This episode's not found, sir.
What? Oh, 404. Bringing the dad jokes. I seriously thought you were saying there was an error. I was making him. I'm like, what? Like, did your recording stop? What was going on? You got me with the dad joke. That was great. Also, the one that found that joke funnier than I did. Miss Alyssa White, how you doing?
I'm good. My stomach hurts from laughing too much due to you guys.
Yeah, you guys missed the dad jokes before we started.
Yes,
but,
they're terrible.
Scott was just...
I love dad jokes. What can I say? Thank you both for coming and recording on the 4th of July. I know that it's not dark yet, so you guys can probably still go do fireworks and whatnot, but... yeah, we're here to talk about some video games, and let's start with the games that we've been playing, just the ones we've been catching up on anyway. Alyssa, you've been playing anything, or?
I am still just trucking away on Tiny Tina's Wonderlands.
Very cool. You still digging it?
Oh, I love it so much.
How far into it are you, do you think?
I'm only level 15, so I'm not even halfway to the level cap yet, but I'm doing a lot of side quests, so it's kind of slowing me down. Somewhat.
No, side quests are the best in Borderlands games, although Tiny Tina didn't grab me as much as other Borderlands games, but I'm glad you're enjoying it. Really glad you're enjoying it. CB, how about you?
I've been playing some games, sir.
It looks like it. I'm looking at your list here.
Yeah. First off, Sonic Origins.
Yeah, Kevin talked about it last week. I heard the achievements are really easy.
They are.
Like, get all the Chaos Emeralds, or even easier than that?
Like, get 1,000 coins.
That's it?
Okay.
You could do that in like one game, couldn't you?
I had it done before I even halfway finished Sonic 1.
Okay, nice.
So, I'm trying to get all the Chaos Emeralds, and man, 2 gets difficult.
Oh, dude, 1 was difficult. I had to use the save states to be able to get through it. So.
Like halfway. I'm playing them just like play one for a little bit, play another one for a little bit. Because I really like the new animations at the beginning.
I haven't seen it yet. Yeah?
They're really good. But yeah, I've been playing through them. Sonic 2, I've got 2 of the Chaos Emeralds. I got them like right away. Sonic 1, I have 4 or 5 now.
Mm-hmm.
So, been plugging away. It's a fun time, man. Like, it's actually a very well put together little collection.
Nice.
So,
glad you're digging it.
Let's see. Played some House Flipper.
Okay, I'm intrigued. House Flipper sounds like something that would be very addicting for me. But
it does sound relaxing.
I'm not going to lie, it's really addicting.
What are you playing it on?
Xbox.
I didn't know it was on Xbox. I thought
it's
it was
on
a PC
Game
only game.
Pass.
It's on
my
Game
goodness.
Pass.
Yeah.
Sold.
So I assume you flip houses in this game.
Yeah. You flip houses, and you could do like odd jobs for people.
Do you like stand really short? Is that odd job?
Come
on. Slappers only.
But no, like you just do some like random tasks. Ha ha! Fire back.
Who throws a shoe? Honestly.
Man, it's weird that like some of the things you have to do, like clean up roach nests.
Ew.
Okay.
But you do it with a vacuum cleaner.
That seems like a bad idea.
It does.
Dude, it's hilarious. You just, it's like, you've killed all the roaches. Okay, sure.
Vacuum
I'm sure that's how it works.
Mm-hmm. Go put them in a fire pit and...
Or clean up all this mud and dirt on couches with a Swiffer.
A Swiffer?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Because you start with a basic mop, but you can upgrade your mop. And the final upgrade is a Swiffer.
Mopping couches and...
It's hilarious.
But is it satisfying?
You liked Lawn Simulator, didn't you?
Lawn Mowing Simulator? Yes, I did.
Yeah, that one.
Mm-hmm.
You like that? You'd love this.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to
This
try
is
it.
very much you. Like I could definitely see Scott Clark loving this game.
Between this and unpacking. Like, it's just like...
I loved unpacking.
Flip the house and then unpack everything.
If you liked unpacking, you'll like this more.
Oh, now I gotta download it.
I was gonna say, you just sold Alyssa on it.
Yeah, it's real. It's really, really like soothing.
Yep, sold.
Plus, you get to destroy walls with sledgehammers too.
Oh, fun.
Yeah,
Okay.
so it's a lot of fun. This one's going to be more in the Alyssa thread in some aspects, and some in the Scott Clark realm.
I actually know who this is, by the way.
I do as well.
Hatsune Miku Jigsaw Puzzle.
It's Hatsune Miku.
Hatsune.
Look at that. I corrected his Japanese pronunciation, Alyssa. Are
It
you proud
actually
of
be
me?
Hatsune.
proud. Oh man, look at that! She just stomped on you too. She's
I'm
like,
sorry, I had to
"Be
do it."
quiet and sit down, son."
Wait, what did
I'm
you
sorry,
say?
Scott.
What'd you say?
Hatsune.
Yeah,
That's it.
it's hot.
Hatsune.
Hatsune.
Hatsune. Okay, anyway.
Hot snakes.
Why is a jigsaw puzzle a Scott Clark
Yeah.
game?
Easy achievement, son.
Oh, yeah.
Plus, it's jigsaw puzzles. You could do jigsaw puzzles on your Xbox.
You're not
Of
selling me, man.
Japanese women.
Oh.
Oh. So it's again like, and it's surprising because Rose was actually playing this with me.
Oh, really? That's what you got to...
Yeah, she's like, get all the edge pieces first. And I'm like, why are you telling me how to do a jigsaw puzzle? Like, what is going on here?
That's pretty
And
funny.
she sat like, Scott knows my wife. Like, my wife does not like playing video games.
Oh, she kind of
She sat there for an hour and a half
Nice.
playing this with me. And I'm like, this is weird, man.
Hey, whatever it takes, man.
Yeah, so I'm like, Microsoft, please release more jigsaw puzzle simulators, apparently. So,
Maybe
I like
get her into
jigsaw
like...
puzzles, so
You should get her into... Oh, what are those games where you got to count the dots across and stuff? You drag the... and they make like 3D pictures... Or not 3D pictures, but pixelated pictures. Picross.
yeah.
Picross. Get her into Picross. I bet she'd like that.
Yeah, she likes her word puzzle games on her phone
Oh,
and
okay.
TikTok.
Well, you've got word puzzle games on your Xbox as well.
I do, but I beat them all already.
Okay.
Though there is a new one, which I will be talking about in the future. 'Cause
Okay.
I just downloaded it today. Lastly, The Legend of Bumbo.
What?
Bumbo.
I'm sure you know this game, Scott.
Okay. I've never
This
heard...
is the sequel to The Binding of Isaac.
No,
Oh.
it's not.
Yes, it is.
Is it like
Well-
the official sequel?
Yeah, it's been out since like 2019. I just found out about this.
Wait, it's the same guy?
Yeah, Ed McMillan.
How did I not... How have
I
never
didn't know
heard of
about this.
Because one of the oh, okay, so you remember in Binding of Isaac, there's the one little guy that always takes your coins.
Yeah.
His name is Bumbo.
Did not know that. Is it the same style of game?
No, it's not.
What is it?
But so it is a roguelite, but it's a cardboard roguelite.
Oh.
So take Paper Mario and cross it with Binding of Isaac, but make it 3D.
Okay. I guess I'm going to have to try it now.
So you have to pick, there's like different Bumbos, and you have to navigate your way through the dungeon. And so at the very, like each time you go into a dungeon room, there's the enemies that you're fighting in this room at the very back end of the wall.
Mm-hmm.
And each turn they move forward. And so you have to like fight them back.
Wait, so it's turn-based?
Yeah.
Oh.
Believe me, I was like a turn-based cardboard cutout RPG styled after Binding of Isaac.
Yeah. I'm not understanding how that would work, but I gotta check it out.
It's actually a lot of fun, man.
This is probably a stupid question, but I assume it's on Xbox?
It is.
Okay.
I bought it already. So it's delicious.
Nice.
And the poop jokes are still there.
So Zach will hate it.
Yeah, he will.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say because your shield that you can occasionally throw up is a pile of poo.
Jesus. Well, I have, speaking of relaxing games, I have needed just like to unwind when I come home lately because I've been doing a lot of physical labor, and nothing winds me down more than sitting down and playing some pinball. I know I talk about it often, but I have been just wrecking some scores. I actually got one that was in the top 100 scores of the world, so that
Oh,
kind of
wow.
cool. Yeah.
Nice.
But that's about it for me this week. I will be playing quite a bit. I'm actually not going to be here next week. It will be Zach, Chris, and Alyssa without me. I'll be on vacation, but that means I'm going to have some free time with my Switch. So I've actually already installed a game, and I'm looking to borrow a couple from CB, hopefully, so I can have something to play. Can you use Nintendo Switch online? If you're not online, like, can I play Ocarina of Time or something? You have to be attached to the internet?
Pretty much.
That's really frustrating. Like, if I'm in a plane, I can't play it.
I mean, it's called Nintendo Switch
I know, but still, it's like at least like on Xbox, you can download the games with the gold games or whatever and play them even if you're not attached, right? Or can you? Maybe I'm talking about my butt right now.
I don't know. Just remember, we do have a console for offline.
Yeah, it's true. Don't you guys have phones? Anyway, let's go ahead and jump into the week's news. All right, this week we've got quite a few news stories. First off, the classic game 13 is getting remade again. Yes, again. We've also got the Xbox Gold, PlayStation Plus freebies for the month of July. And 4 new Genesis games have been added to Nintendo Switch Online this past week. And also, fun fact, video game fans suck. We'll get into that a little bit. We had quite a bit of stuff going on there, so... let's start with Alyssa. Which story would you like to talk about?
I actually want to talk about 13 being remade again, because I used to play this with my uncle back on the PS2, and he loved this game. I don't remember much about it besides the comic book art style. And,
yeah, I remember that from the trailers, but I've never played it either.
And when they first announced this being remade, I was really interested, but then I didn't hear anything about it, but I guess it was remade, but it was done poorly?
I can't speak from experience, but everything that I read online said that it was a dumpster fire. Like, just
wasn't that the 360 era remake?
No, it was 2000. What was the year?
It says 2020. It was remade.
This is only 2 years ago.
Oh wow!
So it's
but
being
I
remade
heard nothing
again.
about it being released back then.
This is not like a from the ground up remake. They are.
Oh, okay.
They are.
Oh yeah, because
updating.
Okay,
it.
You're jogging the memory because yeah. If I remember correctly, it was pretty bad. The fact that I even passed it over and I was almost given a copy.
Mm-hmm. And plus, they were supposed to release it on Switch and they didn't. But now it's going to be coming to all platforms on September 13th. The original developer was PlayMagic. Like Alyssa said, it was not well received. And the new developer is Tower 5, who's going to, quote, finish the game. Here's a cool thing. If you already own the game, you get the update for free, so you don't have to buy it again. And then the Nintendo Switch version will also release on that same day. Those updates include refined art style, enhanced AI, a reworked HUD, revamped sound design, 30 frames per second frame rate on Switch, and 60 FPS on PS5 and Xbox Series consoles. Plus, it will have online multiplayer for 2 to 13 players. So, I don't know. For me, this is a perfect opportunity to actually play that game because I never did, but I heard good things about it.
Yeah. I mean, I guess since the game's now finished, I'll give it a whirl.
Yeah.
But I have it on PS2 and I never played it then, so
why don't you just do that?
I'm legitimately curious because I know there's a lot of people that talk about this game.
Yep.
And I guess now that I'm finally going to have a chance to just chill on my couch and play it without having to hook up my PS2, I'm down. I
have a feeling you're going to play it and you're going to be like, this reminds me of Borderlands, so I'm not going to play it. Even though it's not the same kind of game, I just have a feeling the comic book art style is going to make you...
I don't mind the comic book art style. We've talked about this. It's the comic book art style plus the looter shooter plus...
No. I understand that, but it's going to remind you of Borderlands, and then you're going to just be immediately turned off.
Or to remind me of Comic Zone, and I'll be okay with it.
Boy, that's a segue if I ever heard one.
Ha! Segues. Well, since we're gonna just go ahead and segue across this, More Genesis games coming to Nintendo Switch Online.
Yes.
We got Mega Man, the Wily Wars,
which I never knew was a thing. I didn't know that was
either.
It's a remake of the first, not a remake, but it is the first 3 games in one package, but like with a different art style.
Yeah.
I want to play it just because those games are
pretty
fun.
solid.
Yeah.
So, Comic Zone, also fun comic style adventure, really interesting. Target Earth, which always stuck out in my mind because the Genesis label is all white with black lettering.
Do not remember that one.
I don't remember playing it much either. And then Zero Wing.
All your
Shmups.
base are belong to us.
Yep.
Oh, that's where that came from.
That came from that game.
When they announced it, even in the trailer for these games, they even put that up there like, haha, it's finally here. And I'm like, oh no.
They're going to say it.
But Zero Wing is actually a pretty solid game.
It looks hard.
It is.
Like, really, really difficult. I want to talk about, and I didn't give these 2 notes on this. I actually added this story this morning and then forgot to go back. But there was a couple stories this week about video game fans just being real jerks on the internet, and I wanted to talk about it. I don't know if either of you have heard about this, but
I have.
People are going after Santa Monica Studios for God of War Ragnarok not announcing when the game is coming out, to the point of basically demanding information and demanding that the game come out. And it's just like to the point that Santa Monica had to come out and release a statement that I saw on Twitter that said, look, we got a whole bunch of people working here and we've made this decision to put off on this because we want to get you the best product possible. But threats and all this kind of stuff is not okay. And it just made me angry. On top of that, I don't know how big a Monkey Island fans you guys are, but the creator, Ron Gilbert, actually posted on Twitter saying that he was no longer going to post any updates about the new Monkey Island game because he keeps getting death threats about the art style of the game. These 2 stories just made me so angry this week. Where have we come as a society that like it is okay or acceptable or encouraged to just go and attack people online and say whatever you want with no repercussions? Like what's going on in people's minds? I want to hear your guys' thoughts on this because it just infuriates me.
Well, for me, it's the fact that we've basically all been cooped up for 2 years.
Yeah, but they were jerks before COVID.
They were, but it's gotten worse because now you have people that have been cooped up for 2 years with little to nothing to do.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, this is also like a bit of fanboyism, I guess, in my mind, because when you have new consoles coming out without exclusives, people are going to get pissed to the point that like rather than be mad at like Sony, who made the console and delayed it and like now you have all these other things, like it's just bad timing for everything, because now you have brand new consoles, and this goes for both Xbox and PlayStation. But you have 2 consoles that aren't getting exclusives right now, and they just launched.
It's been 2 years.
Well, I mean, it feels like they just launched because some people are just finally getting their hands on them.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
So for some people, like they're like, "Yay, I finally got my PS5 or my Xbox Series X," and they're like, I can play last generation games. This is awesome, guys." So when you have things like games that have been delayed or have been in the works for a while, and then like you don't have a set release date, like that's the problem. Like I know Zach's talked about it before. Like we need to stop just putting dates on stuff or releasing these massive cinematic trailers just to get people hyped. Just be like, hey, there's a game coming, guys. And then rather than 2 to 3 years out releasing a trailer for something, just like, hey, we got a game coming. And then release your trailer like 6 months before the game comes out.
That's what Fallout 4 did, and I love that. Like, it was announced, we got the information on it, and they said, "Oh, by the way, it's coming out in November." Or whatever.
Well,
I think it was either October or November.
Well, I mean, a lot of movies are doing that now too.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Like we just finally got the Thor 4 trailer only a few months before it comes out. Yes, Scott is making a beautiful Chris Hemsworth.
I'm making a beautiful Chris Hemsworth. Well, thank you, CB. That's awesome.
You're welcome.
I didn't have to take my shirt off or anything
yet. But
it's getting to the point where there's so many games out between AAA games and indie games, and there's so much media that there's no need for massive amounts of time in between when we know about a game and when it comes out.
Yeah.
I would love it if a AAA game announced it like 3 months before just to see what would happen.
I think people would collectively lose their minds. Actually, you know what? I will go on record saying that if a AAA studio announced their game and dropped their trailer 3 months before release, it'd probably be the best-selling game of the year.
I'm kind of with you, because in the age that we live in, word travels so fast. Word of mouth is the thing, and then and then there would be the trailer. By trailer, I don't mean like the actual thing you watch. I mean like once the game releases, and then word of mouth hits, and you've got the trailer sales. You know what I mean? I just want to see it happen for like a big budget game where we don't have, like, do we need that much hype behind a game for people to?
Well, especially a game like that, like a game like God of War Ragnarok. People are just going to buy it.
Well, you got to remember that not everybody's finger is on the pulse as much as people like the three of us.
That is a game that is pretty deep in the zeitgeist.
Right.
So, like, there doesn't need to be a pulse on that one, because you talk to almost anybody at any point in their time who's owned a PlayStation, they know who Kratos is. But, like, okay, good example. Callisto Protocol. You remember 2 years ago when we saw that first trailer, and we were like, everybody on Twitter was on the hype train for that game. And now it's coming out this year, and you don't hear anything about it. Well, like, it exists.
Yeah, but I feel like, to your point, it's because that newness idea of it has wore off. Now it's kind of like, we're excited for it, but it is just Dead Space. Which isn't a bad thing. Most of us love Dead Space, right? I don't know. What are your thoughts on this, Alyssa?
I mean, I think people have become so accustomed just to getting things pretty quickly. Not necessarily in the video game industry, but, through streaming services or through their phone or whatever. And they also don't realize how much work goes into creating something of this nature.
Right.
And especially if you want it to be as good as it can possibly be. There's so much work that has to go into it. So many people working on the project. And then if they have a deadline, they push the deadline back, then people get mad. But then if they release it buggy, then people get mad. So it feels like no one can really win in that kind of situation.
Totally agree. And to back up to something you said when you started your response there, you said that people are used to getting things right away. I think it goes even deeper than that. I think it is that people are just used to getting whatever they want.
That's true, yeah.
It is and I'm going to get on a soapbox for a minute. And I apologize to the two of you and to everybody out there. But it is we have become an entitled society that we want for nothing. There's nothing that we never have to worry about eating. We never have to worry about any basic necessities. But we have, as a society, started looking at luxury items, and I consider video games to some degree to be a luxury item. It's nothing that we need in order to survive.
Oh, not to some degree. Wholeheartedly, they are a luxury item.
Yeah, it's nothing that we need in order to survive.
It's an expensive hobby.
It's expensive hobby is a good way to put it.
I'm actually gonna step on your soapbox for a quick second.
Okay.
I hate the fact that we've become so enamored with the fact of FOMO and entitlement in the society to a point that we're willing to put off basic necessities to acquire luxury.
Oh yeah, totally. I could go deeper into that, but I will be careful with my thoughts on that. But
yeah, and to be fair, like I think that's across all people.
Mm-hmm.
I'm currently dealing with situations in my neighborhood, which Scott has been privy to.
Oh yeah, totally. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
But speaking of neighborhood, do you know any? Man, and I hate the fact that I'm going to sound like an old man right
we
now.
are old men,
But I am an old man.
No, you're not.
My achy joints right now are a test to that. But do you know? Can either of you name, or not even name, but tell me that you know a kid in your neighborhood that is mowing lawns, shoveling driveways, or anything for the neighbors? That's not your kid?
I was going to say, I know one.
Like, because kids don't need to earn money anymore because they're just given whatever they want. I got kids in my class that have a better phone than I do in 4th grade. Why does a 4th grader need an iPhone 13?
No,
you know what I mean?
True.
If I wanted a $900 gadget when I was a kid, I was working. No. I had a lawn mowing business. I was shoveling driveways.
If you wanted a $900 gadget when you were a kid, you could mow all the lawns you wanted. Your parents still would have been like,
"Yep,
no, put that money aside and save it."
Yep, exactly. So, I don't know. I just we've become this people that just expect to get whatever we want whenever we want it, and if we don't, we're gonna raise a hissy about it. And I blame situations like the Snyder Cut, which I know you liked. You guys both liked, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying it's bad that exists, but the fact that the internet as a collective came together and whined and complained and made such a big stink about it until they got their way. And because of things like that, obviously things like that have happened in the past, they've become more emboldened and just decide that they're going to keep doing this. We're going to keep pressuring Santa Monica. We're going to keep pressuring Ron Gilbert and hope that he changes the entire art style of his game that he spent however many years now, because it's been a long time, making this game and making people feel awful.
To be fair, though, there are times where justice did need to be served. Like,
can you give me an example?
The Snyder Cut, that was dirty what they did.
Mm-hmm. It was.
Okay, that's just the first example I thought.
But,
throw in any example.
But that was dirty what they did. Mm-hmm. There are other times where no, like, you don't need that.
It's Morbin time.
That, like,
I didn't hate that movie, by the way.
That right there is plain and simple, just rampant stupidity on the internet,
and that
did not need to be a thing.
Well, it wasn't even like they really wanted it. It was a joke. They were trying to see if they could collectively do it. Just like when the GameStop stock. Remember when that was a thing?
Oh, yeah.
When Robin Hood got like pulled and all that.
Okay. My personal favorite is the sign the petition stuff. Oh, yeah. Like, you want to see where, for those out there listening, if you get really bored and want to discover some stupid ideas, there's like, what is it, signthepetition.org?
I think it's change.org.
Change.org, yeah.
Change, but there are some ideas on there that I'm like, are you kidding me?
Yeah. I'm convinced half of them are jokes, but...
Oh no, there's some that are real, like mandatory toothbrushing laws.
I mean, would you put it past our government at this point?
No, I wouldn't.
Yeah.
But that's a whole nother podcast and a whole nother argument.
Whole different podcast, not a video game.
Yeah.
My whole point here is that
it's video games. Sit down, shut up, and enjoy it.
But here's the thing. I don't have time to play all the games that I want to. And I understand I'm not everybody. Some people only play AAA games. Some people only play sports games, whatever. I try to keep myself well-rounded with the different genres I play. There is always something to play. There is no way that somebody doesn't have something to play while they wait for the game that they really want to play to come out. Right? I want to play God of War Ragnarok as well. I don't have a problem waiting for it. And I'm definitely not going to attack somebody on Twitter, criticize them, call them names, send them death threats, be a jerk because I'm not getting something, I'm not getting my way. And it is infuriating me to no end. And I'm starting to get frustrated as a person that loves this hobby as much as I do to consider myself part of that community, because our community has become not the gaming outsider community, but like gaming in general, or at least the vocal minority on social media, has become so toxic and disgusting and abhorrent, and I'm tired of it. Be better, people. And that's why I love our community, because they're pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, that's why I said, sit down, shut up, and enjoy your game.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's all you got to do.
I will step down off of my soapbox now. I could have got angrier, but
you know what, Scott? I really want to watch you just play League of Legends for a day and just see how toxic gaming really can be.
You really think I would ever touch League of Legends after all I've heard about this? People like they're not going to treat a new person.
Oh, I know, but I think it's something that you have to experience just once in your life.
I promise you, I don't. I really don't. I'll be perfect. Ignorance is bliss once in a while.
If I put enough adult beverages in you, it'll happen.
Yeah, because that'll help me with my League of Legends playing, a game I don't even know how to play. I don't even understand.
But I might just stream it just for funsies.
Yeah, that sounds. Get Scott loaded and play a game he's never played before on PC with the most toxic community in the world.
This sounds like a great Patreon idea.
Oh my goodness. Well, one more thing I want to mention before we move on is the Xbox Games with Gold games and PlayStation Plus freebies for July. They have been announced this past week. So first, on Xbox One and Xbox Series S and X, got a game called Beasts of Maravilla Island. That's July 1st through July 31st. Relicta, July 16th through August 15th. Xbox 360, we've got Thrillville Off the Rails, July 1st through July 15th, and Torchlight, July 16th through July 31st. Wasn't Torchlight already a Games with Gold game?
I thought it was.
Like, are they just going back to the well?
Maybe they're going to start introducing some of those ones that the people who are just now getting into the Xbox zeitgeist.
Put it on Game Pass.
But that could chew up a spot, man.
It could. And then on PlayStation, Crash Bandicoot 4, It's About Time. Man of Medan. What's the precursor in that title? I can't remember.
The Dark Pictures Anthology. Man of Medan. And
then Arcadegeddon, which I initially dismissed, but after I read the synopsis of that's a co-op game that actually sounds pretty fun. So I may have to fire up the old PlayStation Plus. But any of those you guys want to check out?
I might for Crash Bandicoot 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, I might check that one out as well. I've already played Man of Medan, so.
I did it as well. And Arcadegeddon.
I haven't played the last one, House of Ash, yet still.
I haven't either. And I haven't played the one before that. What was it called? Little Hope?
Little Hope? Little Hope was real good.
So, like, we don't even need to worry about the quarry, man. We can just, No, because
I still really want to play the quarry.
I really want it.
You know what I want to do is I want to do the quarry, but I want to do it like where we sit in the same room and play the game. It doesn't have to be past controller. Like, you could play it and we just make the decisions together or something like that.
You know what? When you get back from vacation, we're gonna do it.
Or would it be more fun to each play our own and compare notes of how our stories went?
I've always wanted to play one of those with somebody else in the room.
Yeah, it's fun. I did that with my buddy Jeff. He's not a huge gamer, and he came over and we sat through. What was the last game they did? The
House of Ash.
No. The Quarry people.
Until Dawn.
I played through almost all of Until Dawn with my friend who doesn't play games, and he was just totally entertained. Didn't play. He just gave some input with the decisions every once in a while, and he had an absolute blast. But yeah, I think we should do that, man. We'll play on my account though.
No. Nah, man. My achievements.
Anyway, I don't know. Thrillsville Off the Rails seems like a pretty weak choice. I can't say that because I haven't played it, I guess. But
Thrillville is actually a little bit of fun, but Roller Coaster Park Tycoon is better.
I was going to say, it's a tycoon game. I'm not super interested, but Anyway, that is the week's news. Let's see here. Before we move on, want to remind everybody about our Patreon. We do have a Patreon where fans can contribute monthly to help us offset the costs of the show, as well as give back to the community. We gave away 4 games last month. Actually, one of them was for May, and 3 were for June. We have yet to decide what we're going to give away for the month of July. And honestly, I don't know, because pickings are kind of slim for the month of July. I don't know if you guys have looked at the list, but anyway, if you go to patreon.com/thegocast, you can sign up for a monthly subscription. And if you donate at the $1 level, you get the episode about half a day early. If you at the $3 level, you get an extra bonus episode each month. And if you're at the $5 tier, you get 2 bonus episodes each and every month. CB, what can everybody check out and listen to right now?
Oh, man. So Max Payne Break the Seal.
Officially available, yes.
It's available. It's here.
Mm-hmm.
The upcoming trade-off episode of Link's Awakening versus Sonic Generations is coming.
Yes, I believe Kevin is actually playing Link's Awakening as we speak. He literally just texted me a picture of a boss, and he was all excited. So I have to start Sonic Generations.
Oh, man. It's available on Switch, I believe.
I've got it on Xbox. You and I split a copy, remember?
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, so I'm going to need
Yeah. Also, Desert Island Games with CJ Moore.
That is recorded. It is in production as we speak. So that was a fun episode. CJ's a fun guy. So again, and if you are a new subscriber, you not only get those episodes, but you get all of our past content where we do episodes like Games That Aren't For Us, Legacy episodes. CB likes to make me sit down and play some old retro games that I haven't played, which we have to do that when I get back from vacation.
Oh yeah, when you get back, I have a gauntlet prepared.
All right. Well, we need some kind of theme together. So do some.
How mad can I make Scott Clark?
Is that what the theme is going to be? Okay,
I love it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, with that, let's go ahead and jump into the newer games that we've been playing. All right, unfortunately, Zach is not with us again this week. He usually reads off these titles, but he did provide us a list of the games that are coming out, and it's a pretty short list this week. First off, Match Point coming to PS5, PS4, Series X and S, and Xbox One, Switch, and PC on July 7th. That is for tennis fans. Arcadegeddon, which we just talked about, on PS5, PS4, Series X and S, Xbox One, and PC, July 8th. But again, if you're a PlayStation Plus subscriber, you can get that game at no additional cost to you. Klonoa Fantasy Reverie Series, PS5, PS4, Series X and S, Xbox One, Switch, and PC, July 8th. A game called Madison. I'm going to tell my cousin about that. Her name is Madison. Comes to PS5, PS4, Xbox Series X and S, Xbox One, Switch, and PC, July 8th. And then Formula Bit Racing DX on PS4, Xbox One, and Switch, July 8th. CB, anything on the list you feel like picking up this week?
Madison.
Really?
It's a horror game.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm in.
That's really the only one that super stands out to me. Arcadegeddon I might check out, but just because it's, on PlayStation Plus. So
I mean, Klonoa's not bad.
I've never played a Klonoa game. I've heard that it's like an underrated platformer.
It is.
Yeah.
So the last one I played was on the Wii.
Oh wow, it's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a hot minute, but they're fun.
Well, I picked a good week to go on vacation then with a short list.
I'm also interested in Madison.
Are you? Nice.
Yeah.
I guess we'll have to talk. Maybe you guys will talk about that one next week.
It's usually north of me in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
So
there you go. There you go.
So, CB, you've been playing Hourglass, which the trailer kind of makes it look like Portal, but with, to me, Journey-esque graphics. Can you tell me more about it? What the gameplay is and...
So, you play a character who's searching for her father, who is a world-famous archaeologist. And he went to, I believe it's Egypt, and disappeared. And you're searching for him. But yes, it does have very much Journey graphics. Man, this really does feel like a Portal clone.
In a good way? Or...
it is yet to be decided. The puzzles aren't really, I guess, as complex or make you think as much about like as Portal did.
Yeah.
But there's like you'll come across a puzzle, which basically is moving a companion-like cube.
It sure looks like a companion cube.
It really
I
does,
know.
and it lights up. But you'll come into a room and you'll see like essentially 2 paths and a couple platforms and something blocking your way, and you have to use your companion-like cube.
Is that why it's called in the game, or is this...
No.
Okay, I was
But
wondering.
that's just what I'm going to refer to it as because it doesn't have a name.
Okay.
So it's my companion-like cube. You basically have to drop it on like a pad and like figure out the paths of the different platforms or whether like a door opens. I'm liking it so far, but at the same time I'm not,
Okay.
because it's being such a fan of like Portal and Portal 2. Like knowing that exists in the world.
Like you just want to go play that instead of play
I would
this.
rather
Yeah.
play that.
Are the
I mean,
puzzles as clever here?
No.
They look a lot simpler. Am I?
Yeah, they look...
I'm probably about an hour to an hour and a half into the game.
Mhm.
And yeah, like they're not as complex. They don't scratch that itch in my brain
Mm-hmm.
where you kind of have to like do the outside the box thinking. Like
That's
that was
the-
the beautiful thing about Portal.
Yeah, it made
Was-
you feel like you were breaking
Yeah.
the game.
Yeah, you were like, "Ooh, I did a thing," and you're like, "No, that's just how it's supposed to be solved." This you can walk into the room, look around the room, and you're like, "Okay, do this, and escape this way." So it's more or less timing
Mm-hmm.
in a sense, and it's just
Is there any verticality, or is it all?
there's a small amount. But again, like I said, I'm still early into the game because you start the game and you get to essentially this area that's a gate, and it splits into 3 different ways. And I chose one way, and I'm doing the puzzles in that area. So I'm hoping as I progress farther, the puzzles kind of get a little more difficult. But at this time, it's just there are better options.
Well, it's only an
unfortunately.
hour in, man. I don't expect the puzzles to get too crazy after. I mean, they weren't even crazy after the first half hour in Portal.
There were a few,
Mhm.
like where you kind of had to step back for a second. But I mean, most of these are like sub 10-second solves.
So they're pretty straightforward, and it's more about getting from A to B instead of like actually
Yeah.
solving the puzzle.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so that's why, like, now that I'm into like a more refined area, I'm hoping that it gets a little more complex.
Mhm.
So I will report back on this next week. But at this time, I'm like, man, with Portal Companion out now,
It dropped the
just go
same
play
week.
that.
That seemed super
Yeah.
intentional,
It
didn't
does.
it?
Yeah, I'm like, just go play that.
Yeah,
I mean,
part of me
there's-
wants to. I own that game on Xbox, and that would be a great game to take on the plane this week.
It really would.
$20.
Can't go wrong.
Nope.
But Hourglass, it's cheap. I mean, it was like $20.
Mhm.
So it's cute. I mean, actually, you know what would be a really good thing for this? Like, this would be a great puzzle game to like put in front of like a 10-year-old,
Okay.
where it's not going to be like super frustrating for them, but to kind of understand how game puzzle mechanics work.
That's an interesting thought, but I'm looking forward to CB coming back next week and talking about how difficult the game got.
Yeah, this game just
I
like
am as well.
completely broke me. And
Yeah.
I'm like, I can't play it anymore. It's so mean.
Yeah. I mean, just I get nervous when we say like this game would be good for a 10-year-old because it sounds like we're discrediting the quality of the game. I haven't played it, so I can't speak to it, obviously. But when you say, "Hey, give this to a 10-year-old," people just go, "No." Although you're not really super selling the game, I guess. At that point.
But like that's what I do like is there's that ramp up.
Mm-hmm. I don't like feeling like I'm beating my head against a wall early on in the game. I want to feel those early successes, and that
Yeah.
makes the successes feel good when each one just gets progressively a little bit harder.
But I guess that's like how I kind of rate my puzzle games.
Mhm.
I'm like in the early on in the game, like if a 10-year-old can kind of start to comprehend it, I think it's a good game because it gives you that good base mechanics to move forward. So when I say, like, you could put this in front of a 10-year-old, like, I'm not trying to discredit or knock the game.
Okay. It's just that it's mechanically simple enough that, you know.
They do a very good job of, like, easing you in, hopefully before the gut punch.
Now, are you playing this in 3D, I assume?
Yeah.
Like it's a 3D environment. It's not like 2D.
I was sitting here thinking, I'm like, VR?
No.
Is this
not like
VR, please.
No. There are some people I know that like to play video games, but if they don't play first-person shooters or games in a 3D environment, they've played either two-dimensional games or they play puzzle games or sports games. They struggle with a 3D camera. Does this feel like one that would be a good way to introduce somebody to that doesn't normally play with two sticks in the 3D environment?
Yeah, this really would.
Okay. I'm going to put that in the back of my head because I have a couple people like that. So
yeah, it's a good puzzle learner in the beginning.
Okay. I like a good one that teaches me how to play it pretty easily at the beginning. So
yeah.
Again, that game is called Hourglass. If you'd like to check it, you're playing on Xbox, but I believe actually that's exclusive to Xbox, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Fair enough. Got one more review for you. Sean stopped by to talk to us about a game. I'm going to play that review for you right now. Well, hello there, Sean. How you doing, man?
Good to be here as always.
Yeah, dude. Talk to me about Police Autobahn Simulator 3. I put this one up on our Discord, and you jumped all over it. I assume because you're a racing fan, but I'm not sure if this is a racing game or if this is a police game or if it's a simulator. What is going on here? I didn't even hear of Police Autobahn Simulator 1 or 2.
Same here.
Yeah.
No, just it looked intriguing. It looked intriguing when you sent the link out to the writers and whatnot, and looked like it felt like a change. And yeah, just like you, I've never heard of Police Autobahn Simulator 1 and 2.
Okay.
And it is a simulator of sorts, but it's not a very good one.
Uh-oh.
I gotta say, it has all the mundane stuff you would expect in a simulator of a particular subject, but it has the physics of Goat Simulator.
Physics of Goat Simulator?
Yeah, so imagine the
like
mundane
ragdoll physics?
Kind of, yeah, and the controls don't really work well. So imagine like the mundane routines of like lawn mowing simulator.
Uh-huh.
With really bad Goat Simulator physics. At least in
Goat Simulator is fun, right?
Yeah, and at least that was intentional.
Right.
This is not. But as far as the game, how it's structured, it's an open world,
and
it's an open area in like countryside Germany.
Yeah, you're gonna say Autobahn is like a highway in Germany, right? Like,
yes, it's the German freeway system. Yeah.
Oh, okay. It's not just one freeway; it's a freeway system.
I believe so. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So yeah, that was a misunderstanding on my part. When my stupid American brain didn't know.
No, it took me a second too. Autobahn is that's what they like how we call it our interstate highway system.
Yeah. Okay. I always thought it was just one stretch of highway that like had no speed limit. That's what I always thought.
Like
it was
the Jersey Turnpike or something. That's what you thought.
Yeah, or Route 66 or something like that.
Right.
So anyway, so it's open world.
Mm-hmm. And it's mostly rural countryside area. And you it's structured open world, so you trigger missions, and you can also do little side missions, and then there's also random encounters, or you'll get a random call from dispatch saying, "Hey, we got a report of a stolen vehicle. Who's nearby?" And then you can choose if you want to chase it down or not. And all that can be fun if it controlled well. That's just the big hurdle I'm trying to get over, is trying to make do with these clunky controls, and even the performance is not very good. I'm hitting stuttering frame rates and skipping frames, and mind you, I'm on a sleek brand new Series X,
right,
but it still runs like Cyberpunk on launch.
Oh no.
Yeah. So
I mean, you are playing as a police officer, just doing different missions that dispatch gives you, like to stop criminals or stop speeders or.
And there kind of is an overall story, quote unquote. On your first day, you start, you're actually like, it's your first day back after suffering an injury of some sort.
Okay.
And so I guess the overall, if you want to call it a story, quote unquote, is you want to try to track down the people that hurt you and put you in the hospital. And apparently it's a it's a gang of speed racers, like street racers.
Okay, so we got a little Fast and the Furious action.
That's
going on.
yeah. So, but the way the game works is you got to build up your skills and level up your skills as a police officer in order to be able to take them down. So
gotcha. So when you actually like go to take down these I'm not going to say enemies, but criminals. I mean, what do you do? Is it just strictly driving, or are you ever getting out on foot?
You can get out and go on foot. And I haven't encountered them yet, but they're super rare. I have yet to take my gun out of my holster.
Oh, okay.
And it's one of those things. Yeah, it's there, but it's probably going to be like real life. It's going to be a very rare occasion, especially if it's not America.
So you're just more or less like trying to stop vehicles. Like
it has a procedure of we have reports with like say there's a report of a stolen vehicle. Here's the make, model, color. You encounter a car like it, you pull it over, and then you can verify whether it's the car you're looking for or not.
Okay, so we're not talking like high speed chases or anything.
It does have those occasionally too.
Okay.
But it does. It's the mundane details of you pull someone over, you check their license, you match it with their registration, you check if they have a bad tail light out or something, and you can give them a fine. And every time you do a mission, like say you come across the scene of an accident, you have to secure the accident, interview the witnesses, try to get a picture of what happened, and try to get a confession out of whoever whose fault it was, that kind of thing.
So there's actually conversations and things like that as well?
Yeah. Oh, with pretty terrible voice acting.
Oh no.
Plumbers don't wear ties level.
No way.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Well, now I have to play this game.
If you want to, it's up to you.
I don't know if I want to, but I kind of feel like I have to. But so it sounds like you're not recommending this one, unfortunately.
No, I mean there's a kernel of something kind of cool here, but it's just hampered by the frame rate, technical issues, the wonky controls, and the voice acting. My lord.
Okay. Well, unfortunately, it sounds like we're not going to recommend Police Autobahn Simulator 3, but I do want to appreciate Uber Strategist for hooking us up with a copy to try it. This game does come from a developer by the name of Aerosoft. So, Sean, thanks for taking the time to check this game out for us. I kind of need to see it a little bit when you said plumbers don't wear ties, just because I want to see if it's...
Yeah, watch like a walkthrough or a first impressions video or something to see what I mean.
Okay, sounds good,
Also,
man.
to those of you listening, if you're ever curious, just, do that.
Sounds good. Well, thanks for stopping by, man. You have a good one, all right?
Always. Thanks.
All right, bye. Thanks again, Sean. Moving on, want to remind everybody about our social media outlets where you can follow us if you'd like to join in the community and join in the discussions. First off, facebook.com/groups/the GoCast. We've got an awesome community out there. Please tell a friend, bring them over. I try to keep that updated with any news that I find, any fun memes, as well as all of the episodes for this show. Also, our Discord is alive and thriving. You can find a link for that in the show notes for this very episode. And if you get a chance, you like the show, you want to help us out, get the word out, drop us a review wherever you listen, whether that be on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Google Play Music, Spotify, wherever that you have the ability to drop a review. We would greatly appreciate it. Also, our website is thegamingoutsider.com. Sean has a review for Zorro the Chronicles, which he reviewed for us recently, so be sure to check that out. Again, thegamingoutsider.com. With that, let's go ahead and jump into our From the Outside In topic. Every first episode of the month, we like to ask our community for video game-related questions. Each of these questions come from Facebook, Discord, and Twitter. If you would like to be part of this conversation and maybe have your question read on the next episode, please be sure to check out our social media platforms that I mentioned a few minutes ago. We'll start over on Facebook. Who would like to start? CB, Alyssa? Alyssa, CB?
You know what? I'll take it.
All right.
Okay.
Paul Hine wants to know, what's everyone's preferred gaming setup? TV, console, couch, chair, handheld, headphones, theater room, projector, console, surround system? Or do you have a couple specific situation setups? close the blinds, headphones on, turn off the phone, do not disturb for a few hours, or just pull out the switch on a bus.
Mm-hmm.
These are both related, so I'm curious on what people do. So, for me, it depends on the situation, I guess. I like my Switch on the go, but beyond that, I'm very much a couch TV console in the dark.
Thank you. That is such a huge thing for me, is playing in the dark. I in my basement, I don't have any windows in my basement. When I used to have my gaming setup in like an apartment with windows, I hated, because even if you pull a shade down over a window, it still like feels like there's light coming through it. I want it as dark as possible. The only light coming from the television and any lights associated with the console. That's all I want. Dark as possible.
I actually realize that's part of my problem right now, is why certain days I just haven't wanted to play games as much. Because at the new house, I have those 2 big windows, and I don't have blinds on them.
2 windows in the basement?
Well, no, not in the basement, but where my 4K TV is, where the Xbox is set up.
Oh, okay.
Downstairs in the living room.
Yeah.
I have no way to close those windows.
So that's probably why, yeah.
So I'm sitting here, I'm like, it didn't really dawn on me till I read this question that I'm like, man, I can't shut the world off.
Yeah. It's, even when I'm watching a movie, if I'm like totally dialed in, I want the light off. What about you, Alyssa?
I actually, with my Switch, I do play it mostly in handheld mode, but when I'm playing console games, I'm gonna sound like a goblin or something, but I sit on the floor like 2 feet in front of my TV and play. I don't sit on the couch or chair or anything like that because it's just not comfortable. But also, I can't play in the dark. I have the opposite thing. I have to have light on when I'm playing because I don't know if it's just the difference. There's like a bright light and then it's dark. It just kind of throws me off.
Oh, really? I love that ambience. I seriously love it.
I need to have like unity going on.
Interesting. What about the sound? Because he asked about like, surround sound or headphones, that kind of thing. For me, this one I feel like is situational. Because if I'm home alone, I will crank the surround sound because that's how I just want to do it. But if the wife's home, I don't want to. The sound carries from my basement to the upstairs a lot better than I ever expected. I don't realize it until I pause a game that doesn't, that still plays music or whatever, and I go upstairs to use the restroom, and I'm like, holy cow, that sound is really loud. So obviously, surround sound is the way I want to do it. But if she's home or I don't want to disturb her, I love to play with headphones. But I go back and forth between headphones and surround sound because I feel like the surround sound is better with some of those really nice headphones that we've been reviewing.
Yeah. I guess that's situational for me too. But I've noticed a few things that I've picked up over the years that are a little weird.
Like,
I have to have subtitles on.
Well,
I do as well.
But here's the thing. Sometimes I don't notice when the sound is off anymore.
Okay, I don't have that issue.
Well, so my wife is deaf, so I watch everything with subtitles on.
Mm-hmm.
And every now and then, I don't even notice that the sound is off for things because I'm so used to it.
Yeah.
Because I'll just come in and Rose will be watching a TV show and she'll have subtitles on but no sound on. So I just sit there and I'm just like, huh, yep, just mellowing out. And every now and then, my older son will turn the sound down on the TV and I don't notice.
Why does he turn the sound down?
Well, when he plays games, depending on what he's playing, he turns the sound all the way down.
Oh, okay.
Because he'll be playing in the middle of the night. And so when I hop up in the morning and I'm sitting here playing, I don't even notice for a while. And then I'm like, wait a second, where are the voices?
I would go crazy without the music, I think, man. That's what, even more than the voices, it's just the music or
I have internal music, man.
You got that 80s playlist constantly playing in
your head. Always, there's always music playing in my head.
Yeah, there's always music playing in my head as well.
I've listened to that Coheed album about 30 times now, and I feel like that whole album is just going through my head all the time right now.
But another thing I want to bring up real quickly with this question is, I thought about something that I really want to try.
All right.
I want to play games, but in a sensory deprivation capsule.
You watch way too much Stranger Things.
No. So my brother tried one out a couple years ago.
How does it work?
So they're like these giant, basically egg-shaped things,
Mm-hmm.
and you can either choose to have them completely dark or like ambient, like light and noise. But it's basically just like a giant water-filled tank that's filled with salt water that they close with you in it, and it like pumps in oxygen and everything, so you're fine. But there are some that have like TV projectors that you can watch things while you're like laying there floating. And I'm like, I really kind of want to try this.
I just want to try it in general.
Actually, I can recommend, man. There's one not too far away.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're like an hour. It's like $60 for an hour.
I wonder if I would just sleep. Is that what it's designed for?
You can.
Like, I don't know.
Because there's so much salt in the water, you just float.
It's crazy. Alyssa, what about you? How do you like to do sounds when you're playing games?
I have headphones, but I don't typically use them for some odd reason. I don't have surround sound either. I only play in my bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
Living room just doesn't have an ideal setup to play games. And plus, my dad's here part of the time, so I play in my room, but I play it just normal volume because my dad doesn't hear very well unless he has his hearing aids in.
Mm-hmm.
So, or even if he does, he doesn't mind. He'll crank up the TV in the living room, but I don't usually like playing with anyone around. I'm weird like that. I like to have silence around me while I play.
Then don't play at CB's house.
Nope.
I'm the same way with reading. If I hear noises, it just distracts me from what I'm doing. So I usually play alone when I'm just completely alone in the house. And then just regular TV speakers. That's it.
Have you tried, I know you said you like no sound, like when you're reading and stuff. I know that people talk about listening to white noise, but I've heard or read about brown noise being a thing now. Have you heard about this, CB?
Yeah.
I've heard about it before. I've never tried it.
I haven't either. Apparently you can just get a YouTube
with white
video.
noise, I could always hear it and it would just distract me.
Yeah.
So I don't know about brown noise.
I want to just try because I think I discovered it on TikTok. I saw people like put it on for the first time and they just like their expression was like, "This is the most amazing thing ever," and I don't understand it. Maybe I'll try that tonight when I go to sleep.
I do have to make a little I am more sensitive to sound because I am autistic, so that could be an issue. I don't know if that's why white noise bothers me or why noises in general distract me more.
Well, I'm not recommending it to you because I'm not a doctor. I don't know what I'm talking about. But I got the impression from the videos that it was people that had issues with white noise could listen to brown noise.
Okay.
I don't know for certain, so read up on it.
Okay.
You know, I don't want to be responsible if you have any kind of issue with that. But all right, Alyssa, you're up for the next question.
Okay. Sean Coates writes, what are some games you were really hoping would be announced at any of this year's showcases / day of plays, but weren't? I was hoping for any announcement on Project 007 from either Sony or Microsoft, an announcement of Wolfenstein 3, confirmation of Ubisoft Plus coming to Game Pass, and I was also hoping that they'd finally announce the GoldenEye remaster.
Yeah, I'm surprised the GoldenEye remaster didn't get announced because I feel like that's going to come out this holiday for sure.
Maybe.
For me, Indiana Jones. I was a little bummed we didn't see anything on that, and that tells me the game's a long ways away.
Yeah. Well, it's definitely not within the next 12 months.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, 11 and a half.
Okay.
11.
Fair enough. Fallout 6, man.
Oh, dude, I think, didn't he say Elder Scrolls was going to happen first?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Elder Scrolls.
I know. Little sad. or Fallout New Vegas 2.
Oh, the Fallout New Vegas wasn't even Bethesda, so you could just have, wasn't that
Obsidian?
Obsidian.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which is also owned by Microsoft, so.
Yeah.
I just want them to keep the same formula. Like the VAT system and the special attributes.
That's going to stay the same.
It's got to, right?
So I was a little sad about those. Wolfenstein 3, yes. A little sad about next Assassin's Creed, man.
Dude, I gotta play Valhalla.
I know. Well, I'm not stopping you.
I know. Stop getting side jobs, I guess.
Yeah, stop it. It's
Stop
bad for you. Bad for your
money.
health. So I mean, I guess those are some big ones for me. Like, I get excited about any game, man. Like Scott sat next to me during the Microsoft Bethesda showcase and just watched me like geek out.
You should have seen him like so giddy with excitement, like a kid at Christmas when they were talking about Starfield. He was just like, it was insane.
It's Fallout Space. Oh my god!
I know, he was really like, I thought he needed a minute. Like, did you want to step outside?
I apologize to all of our listeners in advance, but when that game comes out, that's all you're going to hear me talk about probably for a while.
Yeah, probably. Moving on over on Discord, Mark Szymanski writes, name a game from the last few years that people will still be talking about in the year 2052, like how we still talk about Sonic or Zelda. That
man,
is a great question.
Hey, I want to know what Alyssa's excited for.
Oh.
Hey, man.
I'm sorry, Alyssa.
No, it's okay. I didn't really have any expectations going into these, but I would have liked to have seen a little bit more about the Outer Worlds 2 because I love that game. And we got an announcement, was it during the Game Awards last year or the year before?
The best announcement ever.
I love the first game and I wish we could have seen something from it, but take your time, Obsidian. Take your time. I can wait.
I give them credit. That announcement trailer was how you should do an announcement trailer.
I don't remember it. What was it?
The whole thing where they're narrating what they're doing, and they're like, a game so exclusive, we only have a title and nothing else. And it just showed Outer Worlds 2.
Oh, I do remember that now. That was
and I'm like,
last year, wasn't it?
Yeah, I was like, bravo, that was brilliant.
Yeah.
Because you basically told me, like, hey, we're working on a game, didn't show me anything else.
And didn't spend like 20 minutes talking about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that. That is how you announce a game. Yeah. Just boom.
Did you have any others, Alyssa? I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to forget you.
No, it's okay. No, like I said, I didn't really go in expecting any certain games to be announced.
Well, back to Mark's question. What's a game that we'll be talking about in 2052, 30 years from now, that we talk about as much as we do Sonic or Zelda? That's a tough question.
Probably.
No, it's not.
Probably.
CB is...
Okay.
Go ahead.
Skyrim.
Well, yeah, because they'll be releasing it on the platforms in 30 years.
I was going to say Elder Scrolls 6, whatever that's called, because they'll have multiple versions of that as well.
Yeah.
Basically anything that Todd Howard touches.
I mean, it's easy for me to say that it's difficult to name something from the last few years because I grew up with those games. I didn't grow up with Skyrim, or I didn't grow up with these games, so that I don't have that childhood nostalgia feeling for it that kids nowadays do. I feel like Minecraft and Fortnite we'll be talking about in 30 years.
Minecraft I could definitely see.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's a game that literally has no real ending.
It's like
way.
Video game Legos.
It is.
Yeah.
So I have a feeling that's going to be talked about for a long time. Fortnite, it'll be like talked about as like a passing fad. I have a feeling at that point in time.
I think
do you guys remember Fortnite?
I feel like we're past that game being a fad.
Yeah, but I'm not hearing about it as much anymore. It's not Roblox.
I hear about Fortnite way more than I do Roblox.
Depends on the circles that you're in.
Kids, well, I teach 4th grade, so.
But yeah, like Skyrim, I have a feeling will be still talked about. Starfield, most definitely. Yeah, okay, little bit of a stretch. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order.
No. Nope. They won't be talking about that because Star Wars is already getting oversaturated in 2022. In 2052, there's going to be so much more Star Wars stuff still going on.
Yeah, but
that
was
stop.
Like that. So for me, Jedi Fallen Order was like coming out of the dark times of Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
especially in the video game world, because it's like before that we had Battlefront and Battlefront 2. Hooray!
But here's the thing. Going back to his original question, like I said, talking about Sonic and Zelda, the reason we still talk about Sonic and Zelda right now is because we played that when we were kids. Do you know any kids, elementary age or middle school age, that are playing Jedi Fallen Order? I'm not saying they don't exist. I know they're out there.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's put it as, but let's kind of twist the question a little.
Okay.
What do we have for video game icons?
I was thinking about that, like mascots. I mean, Mario Maker 2 will still be talked about in 2052 because they'll still be making maps for that. What do you think, Alyssa? Do you have anything?
I was gonna say probably the Dark Souls games. People will be like, "Did you beat that back in the day? That was a true sign you were a real gamer." If you beat
That's
that.
a good point. It'll be like nowadays we say if you're a real gamer, you have to go back and beat like Battletoads or something like that.
Or is it Ghouls and Goblins?
Yeah.
Ghouls and
Ghosts
Ghosts and Goblins.
Yeah.
That's
Dark Souls will be that.
Yeah. You weren't a real gamer unless you beat Dark Souls or Elden Ring or
Bloodborne.
Yeah. That's a good point, actually. Because was Dark Souls the first in that genre?
Demon Souls.
Demon Souls, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, BioShock.
Hmm.
That Big Daddy life.
Do you think they'll still be talking about BioShock in 30 years?
Much to Zach's disapproval, maybe.
I mean, I feel like the "Would you kindly" line would still be probably quoted.
Because that is definitely such an iconic line.
I use that in emails whenever I have to request something. I say, "Would you kindly consider?"
But yeah, like I've the longer I sit here and think about it, I can't really think of any.
Well, the problem is that there's so many games, right? Like when to Mark's original question, Sonic and Zelda were out, there weren't massive amounts of titles out there. Sonic and Zelda were two massive titles. Mario.
I might disagree with you on that because that was okay. Hang on. Let's back the train up a little.
Okay.
This is coming straight off the video game crash, so the market is still potentially flooded with games.
Flooded with crap games, though.
But that's the thing is,
we're not flooded.
You can't say that there wasn't
right
a plethora of things to play. It's just the plethora of quality things to play.
Right, but when you're a kid, you couldn't afford $60 for a game that could potentially be crap. Right? You were going to buy the ones that you knew were going to be good because everybody was talking about them. Sonic, Zelda, Mario, Metroid, Golden Axe, whatever. You're going to pay the money or save up your money for those things. You're not going to go save up, mow lawns and everything for, I don't know, I can't even think of a terrible title on it. Axelay. Like, you're not going to, you know what I mean? Or,
well, I'm not disagreeing. I'm just saying that there were plenty of things out there.
But they weren't good. That doesn't mean, just because there's something good, there's something to play, doesn't mean I want to play it.
But I also think the problem is the oversaturation of the market right now.
Mm-hmm. That's my point.
Like I will say that, you're right on that. There's too much to play.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
There's not enough time for you to marinate in a game for it to become iconic. Because, at least for me, even a game I'm super excited about, I play through it quickly, beat it, and then never touch it again. When you're a kid, how many times did you play through NES or Super NES games or Genesis games when you were a kid because that was all you had? Now we've got things like Game Pass where a kid can try a game for 20 minutes and decide doesn't want to play it and then move on to something else, and never replaying a game. Or the replaying of the game or the multiplayer games, which are games that at least I assume the three of us are not super interested in.
Yeah.
It's way more popular nowadays. Like that's just the way of gaming life nowadays. I think I've said this multiple times in the past. I don't hear any students talking about, I played this great game with an awesome story. There's this really cool story. That's what I did when I was a kid. is I would go to school and talk about how far I got in this JRPG.
Well, that's because back then that's all we had was story-based games.
What are you talking about? There was all kinds of arcade-ish games on Nintendo and Super Nintendo. Score grab games. Racing games.
Yeah, but
you can't tell me that all that was out there was
the ones
JRPGs.
that all stood out, though.
Super Mario World, Super Metroid, Vector Man. I'm trying to think of Genesis games because I'm not super popular, or I'm not super familiar with all those.
Sonic the Hedgehog.
Well, we'd already... Sonic was already there. I mean, that was in the original question.
But I'm saying, like, the games that you're going to talk about with your friends, like, you're like, hey, man, I played this great racing game on the Nintendo. You're going to talk about the games that stood out because you could... I never liked Rad Racer.
I played it quite a bit when I was a kid. Didn't use the Power Glove. It's so bad.
It's so bad it's good. The more I sit here and think about this question, though, is I think in 2052 we won't be talking about games, but just genres.
That's an interesting way to look at it.
Because we're going to be like, hey man, like, do you remember like when everybody was making a battle royale?
Yep. Yeah.
Or everybody was making a Souls-like.
Yeah.
Or a roguelite.
Roguelikes. Yeah. And then we'll be sitting on our rocking chairs on the porch sipping iced tea, going, back in my day, we used to play
Breath of the Wild.
We used to play these games called JRPGs. And they told a story.
Okay, boomer.
Yeah. What's ours? I don't even know what generation. I think I'm not a boomer. I think I'm a X or
I'm
Y.
millennial. So
Scott, you and I like both fall like right at the very end of X.
I think so. Yeah, I think you're right.
Because depending on like which chart you look at, like I'm like the last year of Generation X or the beginning of the millennials.
Right.
I'll take
you are a millennial. X. That's hilarious. That's funny. Anyway, Mark, thanks for the question. That got a lot more legs in that conversation than I was expecting. Next question comes from Kevin Honigford, who says, sexual content excluded, what's a game you've enjoyed playing that you're kind of embarrassed about? When I was a teenager, I remember really enjoying Beauty and the Beast, Belle's Quest on the Genesis. It was a game our parents got for my sister, but I was always ready to hurry up and pop the cartridge out if any of my friends came over because I never would have lived down the embarrassment if they ever found out. Now I laugh about it. I mean, if he had said sexual content aside, if he hadn't said that, Bayonetta was definitely on my list. I back when that game, I don't know, I'm not answering his question, but I got to tell this story quick. CB, before I met you, my basement used to be on the west wall of my basement, and my couch would be, behind there. So I couldn't see if someone was coming up behind me if they're coming down the stairs. And I was playing Bayonetta, constantly looking over my shoulder because I was worried that my wife was going to come down and think I was playing some kind of porn game. It wasn't
I was the same with Lollipop Chainsaw.
Oh, yeah, same thing for sure. But sexual content excluded. Alyssa, are there any games you've ever been embarrassed to play that like you wouldn't want anybody to know?
I've never really been embarrassed by anything that I've consumed, playing, watching, reading, anything like that. But that's mostly because I made stupid rules for myself in the first place. I wouldn't allow myself to play... I did play M-rated games when I was young because my uncle... But I wouldn't watch R-rated movies until I was 16, and I stuck to that. So I was never really embarrassed by any games I played because I mostly played with my uncle, and we played Devil May Cry, Tomb Raider, Resident Evil. At home, I played Chocobo Racing, which, that's just cute. Playing that, I'd play Pokemon, which was huge when I was a kid. And even as I get older, I'm not ashamed of anything I enjoy. So I never really feel embarrassed.
I'm envious of you. I wish I could.
Ain't no shame in my game.
Yeah?
Well, anymore. To be fair, when I was playing World of Warcraft, that was... At the time, like, that was one of those, like, you felt dirty talking about it.
Why?
Those first few years.
Why?
Because, like, that was still like right toward. Actually, I would say more like when I was playing EverQuest.
Oh, you're talking about like people that didn't play games that looked down on you for playing games?
Yeah, they're like, ugh, do you go outside? Yeah. But there was that like stigma with MMORPGs in the early days that were like, you're a dirty human. Ew.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think at its worst, I was playing EverQuest 2, City of Heroes, and World of Warcraft.
But see, I think yours is more like it's just the stigma of people that don't play games that make fun of you. But
it just says what you're embarrassed about.
But it's like a game that it's a game that you enjoyed that you feel like you shouldn't enjoy because of your age bracket or your
at the time. That's how I felt.
Okay.
Because I mean, luckily, because that little tag at the front, sexual content excluded.
Yeah, I could give you a whole list of games that would fall into that category.
Bro, we haven't even delved into the Japanese stuff.
Or like, what was the Dead or Alive volleyball?
Oh man, yeah, Dead or Alive.
Or what was
Dead or Alive Extreme?
No, what was the fighting game where you could change the physics?
Oh, it was Dead or Alive Extreme.
Was it Dead or Alive? You like change the gravity like just to ridiculous levels of bounce.
Yeah. What? Well, there's also Senran Kagura.
Oh my goodness. Well, that was that. Yeah, we told Kevin. Kevin said sexual content excluded. So
yeah, that's what I was like. We could dive down that hole, and it's like questionable things. But yeah, for me, like Scott, you've seen the games in my collection. Like, I enjoy playing stupid games. Like Plumbers Don't Wear Ties. I'm not embarrassed by those. Yeah. Like, to me, there's no embarrassment of it. Like, I was just trapped in that era of my life where there was stigma to playing MMOs.
Right.
And other people made you feel embarrassed and dirty for it. Guess what, kids? You don't need to feel embarrassed or dirty, because guess what? If there's games out there that you like, more than likely somebody else likes them too.
That's true.
Yeah. I got one that kind of teeters the line on Kevin's initial question here, but Catherine. That game is not nearly as sexually explicit as its cover would make you believe, but it's also a game that, you know, if you play, someone might be thinking things about you and your personal life if you're enjoying that game. So that's one that I would put on my list. Another one that's a little bit more similar to Kevin's is the Little Mermaid game on the NES. Is pretty fun.
Yeah, it's not a bad game.
I actually played that one for the first time recently because a buddy of mine said that he played it when he was a kid and he wanted to check it out again, and I brought over a copy and played with him and his daughter. And I was like, wow, this game is actually pretty fun. I was very surprised. So I could have seen myself playing that game when I was a kid. Good question, Kevin. CB, you are up.
Drew Ross writes in, what games are you looking forward to checking out for the rest of the year? All of them.
No, I actually tried to look up and see what was coming out the rest of this year. Unless I'm looking in the wrong spot, there's not a ton of things I'm super excited about for the rest of the year. There's some. Don't give me that look, CB.
Don't lie to me. Don't lie to me.
Well, here's what I've got on my list. I've got Callisto Protocol. That's December, right?
Yep.
That's probably my most anticipated, just because I miss me some Dead Space. Blossom Tales 2 is the sequel to Blossom Tales, which is a Zelda clone.
Didn't expect that one.
Yeah. Believe it or not, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, just because I love those campaigns.
Yeah.
That last one kind of blew me away to the point that I could probably play through that again now and have some fun with that. And Metal Hellsinger, which I talked about earlier, playing the demo of that. Those are the 4 that were on my list. I'm sure you're going to tell me that I'm wrong and I'm missing some.
You're missing the most important one.
What am I missing?
Starfield.
It's not coming out this year.
In my mind, it still is.
No, it's not. It would have been on my list if it were coming out this year, but,
Plague Tale Requiem?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I saw that one, but I still haven't finished the first one, so I didn't feel right putting that on my list. I knew you were going to anyway.
Marvel's Midnight Suns?
Whatever. That's the Firaxis game, right?
It is.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of the XCOM games. I tried to get into XCOM, just did not like it.
I know you're not excited about Saints Row.
No, I'm really not.
Callisto Protocol.
Said that one already.
Oh, I'm saying for me.
Okay.
For moi.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God, I feel like there was a couple. Like we just talked about this too, because there's Xbox had like, the games that are coming out over the next 12 months.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm like drawing a blank.
Dude, I'm telling you, go look through the list of like, remember like last year or like 2019 when there was just so much coming out in the month of September alone? And I feel like this year's going to be a little bit easier to manage.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Mm-hmm. COVID is finally catching up with us.
Yeah, it's really putting a damper on my life here, man.
I'm not complaining. I've got plenty to play and catch up on. So, Alyssa, what about you?
The 4 I'm looking forward to are the Callisto Protocol, A Plague Tale Requiem, Saints Row.
Oh, really?
And God of War Ragnarok, if it ends up coming out this year.
I have a feeling we're not going to see that this year, but I would have put it on my list too. CB just lit up. You found one.
No. I feel like I called that one when I accidentally said.
Yeah,
when it was only a rumor.
It wasn't even a rumor. You just flat out said that the game was.
It's not coming out, and now it feels like it's coming true.
So now you're considering yourself a predictor.
I predicted it first.
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings, Gollum.
Oh, I forgot about that one.
I forgot about. Yeah, I did.
Yeah. I have the
gameplay
list
on that.
Nope.
Mm-mm.
Gotham Knights.
I'm whatever on that one. Don't tell Zach.
Wow.
He listened, so he just heard you.
I know one that me and Alyssa are going to be excited for that Scott's probably not going to care. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet.
Oh yeah, I forget. How did I forget Pokemon?
You can't forget the Pokemans. So yeah, I mean, there's still a few. Like, I'm waiting for the surprise releases. Like, guess what? I'm still waiting for that. Like, surprise, the game was done early.
Yeah, you get one of those.
They never happen.
Or like, here, we're going to announce this game and you can play it right now.
Oh, that was like the best when that happened.
Mm-hmm. Or I miss E3 when it was like, oh, one more thing. And then they just dropped
today.
Yeah, that was cool. All right, Alyssa, you're up.
Caramel Bear writes, if video games did not exist, what other form of media or hobby would you feel that would take over as your go-to escape, and why? Would you feel as invested in that other form of media or hobby?
I mean, the easy answer is movies for me. I did a movie podcast with Aaron before I did this, but I tried to do the gaming podcast at the same time, and I like games more than movies, so I can't say it would, I would be as invested because I just like games better, but I don't know. There's just so much more to watch between movies and television now than there was when I was doing that show. And it's easier to get through and review a 2-hour movie and write a review on it than it is to play a 12 to 20 hour game and then write a review on it. You can consume a lot more media that way. But
yeah.
Well, for me, I already have a bunch of hobbies.
Yeah, you do.
So, I mean, I'm covered between watching movies. I love film, watching anime, reading manga, just reading in general. I mean, all of those take up a pretty good bit of my time along with video games. So I could fall on any of those and be fine.
Nice.
Yeah.
CB?
I mean, movies and music are the easy ones.
Mm-hmm.
But let's be honest. Scott, you've been to my house.
Lego?
You know what my addictions are.
Legos.
Legos.
I mean, just toys in general. Like, really.
Yeah, well, okay. I guess rebuilding the 80s and 90s, like early 90s childhood.
Mm-hmm.
That's like my ultimate hobby.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I mean, you guys can see behind me in this room, it's filled with the things.
Yeah, he's got the Star Wars toys hanging on the back of the door now, I think. Did you see that picture
there's
today?
got Star Wars toys, there's Funko Pops.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a big kid, man, and I enjoy it.
Very true. Aaron Hughes II writes in and says, has there ever been discussion about supporting crowdfunded campaigns and how iffy they can be, even with, quote, large devs? I haven't supported any IPs in this fashion, but if I remember correctly, you have in the past. He was speaking to me directly.
Ooh, man, this is going to be a hefty question.
Yeah, I feel like this could have been a whole topic, like for a.
It could be.
You want to just push that off for next week and do it as the whole topic?
No, because you won't be here.
I know, but the other one is one I would want to be on. It'd be you and Zach.
Well,
and Alyssa.
Let's glance on this real quick.
Okay.
Just because we got to give Mr. Hughes some love.
Mm-hmm.
But I do feel that this probably needs to be an actual episode topic.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have supported many crowdfunding campaigns.
I got a couple in the works right now.
Some of them good, some of them bad.
But don't you get your money back if they don't
No.
fund? You don't get your money back?
I have supported 4 campaigns that were successfully funded and then went defunct.
Oh.
I believe you only get your money back if it's not fully funded by
if they don't meet their goal.
Yeah.
That is the only time you will get it back. I actually spent a decent amount into a Switch game where my likeness was going to be put in the game.
Oh, that's why it defuncted.
Well, I was going to be a minor character.
A child?
And the game...
That's what came
A
to my
child.
mind too, Scott.
But the game never took off. The company that did it shuttered, and we all lost money.
Right.
Currently, I'm probably in about 18 different Kickstarter
Good Lord.
campaigns. I will support developers, man.
No,
That's
I
what I do.
get it. I think I've got Sea of Stars I kickstarted for 2 copies.
There's a full motion video game that's coming out that I kicked, which I know Alyssa will love.
Oh yeah.
It's the guy who's making it was I believe he's actually like well-known horror director, Jed Hoyer.
Never heard of him.
I think it was like not Parasite, but like The Host was one of the movies he did.
I thought
So he's done a few things.
Bong Joon-ho did the host, or is he?
I don't like. I'll get back to you because I know
Okay.
he's done a few. I've actually talked to him about coming on the show.
Oh, nice.
Oh, that'd be cool. Yeah.
I kicked Amplitude. I loved Amplitude.
Yeah. My
name's in the credits.
Wonderful 101
That was a Kickstarter?
for Switch.
Oh, to bring it to Switch it was. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I kicked that. Multiple board games.
Hate.
Yeah. Well, Hate, Slaughterville, Nemesis,
I like Slaughterville.
Spheres of Influence. Yeah, I lots of board games. But the one that Scott and I are currently well embattled into is the Intellivision Amico.
Oh my goodness.
Oh.
And just that disaster.
I
Which
have
Scott and I
such-
still get emails about, and it is just hilarious to be watching this thing crumble around us.
Is that one a COVID situation, do you think? Or is that
No.
like it just was not a good idea? Because it was a great
No.
idea. Like what they
It
were
was a
putting
great
together
idea,
was
but-
awesome.
It started crumbling before COVID?
Yeah.
Because now from the outside looking in, like there's people that have been posting videos to like back at this date, like this happened with the company, or just
Well, now
Like, we all-
the name, like the copyright for the name is available, isn't it?
yeah. As of today, the copyright, the trademark for the Intellivision Amico is now considered abandoned. So you can actually go out and buy the trademark for it.
I wonder how much that trademark is.
You just have to file for it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Could you imagine?
Believe me, when things like that happens, I believe it was a few years ago, the San Diego Padres,
Mm-hmm.
they changed their Twitter handle to Madres for Mother's Day, and somebody immediately jumped on it, and they're like, I'm now the San Diego Padres.
I actually saw or listened to an episode of Freakonomics, a podcast called Freakonomics, where they talked about online real estate. Like it was a whole thing like that. It was fascinating. That's a interesting podcast if you want just like general random knowledge. It's pretty cool.
I bought the book when it first came out.
Did you? Yeah. There's like a picture of a slice of fruit or something on the
front. It's a slice of an apple, but the inside is an orange.
Yeah. That's it. Alyssa, what about you? Have you ever kickstarted or crowdfunded anything?
I have not, mostly because all of the reward tiers seem to be a little too out of my price range.
Mm-hmm.
But there have been some I've been interested in, but I can't think of their names now.
Gotcha.
But I've also been kind of wary about the fact that, like CB said, some just are shuttered and you lose your money.
Right.
And I don't want that to happen, so.
Well, Aaron, I think we're going to make that a topic either next week or the week after, because I think we could go into the whole iffiness of it, and I'd love to hear the community's response on that too. So
I will bring some facts for that one, because
do it.
There's some fun success stories and some fun horror stories.
Yeah, let's do it. All right, CB, you up for the next question?
Well, Aaron Peterson. Look at that. 2 Aarons in a row.
Mm-hmm.
The world is coming to an end and under siege, and you can only call on one video game hero to save you all. Who's it going to be?
Man, I mean, you could go the easy route and do something like a Superman, like some superhero.
Oh, I already know who I pick.
Who?
I got 2.
You only get one.
Well, I know. But it depends. Like, do you want the goofy answer or do you want the, like, realistic answer?
I want Alyssa's answer.
I don't have one yet, so go ahead
Okay,
while
never
I think
mind.
it up.
CB?
Okay, so for the goofy end of the spectrum, Duke Nukem.
I was going to say Duke Nukem as well, but...
For the slightly more sensible answer, Desmond Miles.
Desmond Miles from Assassin's Creed?
Save the world once, man.
Yeah, but that's who you're gonna call on is Desmond Miles?
If I have to choose a person who's like actually like grounded in reality, like he didn't have superpowers, nothing like that.
I mean, you're talking about grounded,
but he had the drive.
Grounded in reality. That's the best you can come up with. How about I would take like a Max Payne over Desmond Miles.
No. I'm gonna go with Desmond Miles, man, because he's my boy.
All right. I wasn't going the angle of grounded in reality. I guess if I had to go grounded.
That's what I said. I had 2 opposite ends of the spectrum. Or Booker DeWitt.
Booker DeWitt? What kind of answer is that?
just to watch your head break.
That's a terrible answer. I love BioShock Infinite, but he's not like a hero.
But
he's
here's
kind
the funny
of the
thing.
Opposite of a hero if you think about it.
I pick him, and then like just watching you get upset is fun. Because you're like, why? Why would you choose him? Now, Duke Nukem for the completely unrealistic side of things, or Desmond Miles if it had to be a realistic, grounded person?
So I gotta give 2 answers now?
No, I just do, because that's how I roll.
I'm just trying to think of Garcia Hotspur.
Wow.
Just because I think he's awesome.
Surprised you didn't go with Ocarina of Time Link.
I mean, like, that's who you're going to call in to save the entire world?
Dude, you make a mistake. Play my little flute. Look, I rewind time. I can do it again.
Well, if that's the case, then you could do Max from Life is Strange.
That's true.
Yeah.
Don't squint your eyes at me.
There's better time traveling options.
I'm going to go with Dante from Devil May Cry.
Dante's a good answer.
I mean, the world would be destroyed after he was finished saving it, but he would save it. And
that's true.
We could all just hang out at Devil May Cry, his pizza place.
Yeah, and the one dude will bring the fire, so make sure you bring the marshmallows.
Yep.
I got to bring it up every time we talk about.
I know.
But I'm just trying to think of like a really like that one answer that's just going to be the end all be all. I mean, Superman is in video games, so like I feel like that's an easy answer, but it's not.
That feels dirty.
Yeah, it's not exciting.
Yeah. Choose again. I reject your reality.
Trying to think of. Oh, dude. The Doomslayer.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
That's. I mean, you can't get much more BA
but again,
than
the
that.
world's probably going to be destroyed when he's done.
No, just those are in and around it. Speaking of, I re-downloaded Doom 2016. I've never played through that.
Yeah.
I think playing Hellsinger made me want to jump back into something like that. So
I can get behind.
All right, Alyssa.
Thomas Bex writes, if you received the budget to write any video game related book, what subject would you choose and why?
Oh, like, is he talking like nonfiction? Or is he talking like bringing a Ready Player One type thing to a...
It seems like it's a pretty...
Any video game related book.
Yeah.
Boy. Bring it to... Write any video game... Okay, so like if... I'm reading this as if I wanted to like go be a Jason Schreier and do some investigative reporting and write a book on something like that.
That's how you took it.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I'm taking that. If that were me, if I had to choose a subject, I would choose to write about toxicity in the video game industry, in the fandom, and just go and seek out these people that are making these horrible comments and actually sit down and have a conversation with them and make a documentary on it. Not to embarrass them, but to just try to understand that side of it.
Or you do like the 80s like cops thing where they sit
darken
there
it.
in the dark and like
And you hear their
modulate their voice. And then I robbed the 7-Eleven.
Yeah. It's like you can clearly see that it's a woman, and it's like, oh, you did this.
I threatened Santa Monica Studios.
Yeah. So yeah, I think toxicity in the video game industry, or honestly, I would love to just go investigate, learn more about, and write about more success stories of indie developers. Like that just started with nothing. Like I feel like that's what we got with Jason Schreier's first book. Like a lot of those stories were really happy, and the second book was all like doom and gloom. I want more of the first set.
I felt that the first one was more doom and gloom.
I think
The second one, the stories all started doom, but then turned out like, yay!
I think you read them
Because it
in
was
an opposite order,
Press
man.
Reset.
Press Reset was the second one.
Yeah, that's the one that I felt like a lot of the people in there all had like positive like endings.
Did we read the same book? It was all about like the studios getting shuttered.
It was Press Reset. The studio would shutter, and then they went and started their own thing.
Oh, I see what you're saying. There was some.
That's
of
what I'm
that,
saying.
yeah.
It started negative, but turned positive. Whereas the first one was like started positive, ended horribly negative.
I feel like they were more positive in the first one. But
The first one was about Star Wars 1313.
There was more than just that.
That was like the big ending chapter.
Oh yeah, because it's Jason Schreier. He's got to end on a down note.
That's all Jason Schreier is nothing but down notes.
Wow. That is Chris B at thegamingoutsider.com.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Alyssa, what about you? What would you write about?
I'd probably honestly write like a fiction book more in the style of Ready Player One, because I've never been really good at doing research and writing about it. That was never my strong suit in creative writing class. So I'd probably go the fiction route and make up a completely original story. I have no idea what that would be, because things just come to my mind when it comes to fiction.
Gotcha.
Out of nowhere, but it'd be something like that.
Did you read Ready Player One?
I did, and I loved it. I haven't read the sequel, but
The sequel is okay.
I
but
heard it wasn't as good.
It's not terrible, but it's just nowhere near as good. But I would recommend reading Armada by Ernest Cline.
I actually own it, but I haven't read it yet.
Oh,
That's
Armada
a bad habit
is
of mine.
Such the superior book.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know.
Don't lie to me. Armada's superior.
I will say this. I think Armada will make a better movie than Ready Player One did.
Easily. Easily.
I want to go back and re-listen to that book. That was just a great book. I like that one a lot.
Didn't Will Wheaton do the...
He did both Ready Player One, Ready Player Two, and Armada.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. If you listen to the audiobooks. But.
Yeah. For me, I have two different routes.
Mm-hmm.
Fiction, I would want to work with Ernest Cline and make a sequel to Armada.
Okay.
For nonfiction, I would love to write a series of books on strange consoles.
Ah,
that'd be interesting.
Because like
strange consoles and peripherals.
Like Brett Weiss, he did that. You met him. He did the book on Nintendo and Super Nintendo. I want to write one of those, but for the 3DO.
Oh, okay.
Because so like that's the problem is like for being a collector of strange consoles, there's not a lot of reference material.
Right. Because they won't sell as well.
Yeah, but it would be fun to do like a series of them and then do like a volume book of like, oh, the Emerson Arcadia 2001, and it's 24 different games that came out.
Good point. Last question comes from Tim Thane, who says, pick a long-running series that is now getting stale or perhaps even defunct. Say Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, Splinter Cell, Call of Duty, etc. What's your idea to make it fresh again? I mean, I feel guilty saying this because I did not finish Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I barely started that game. Bring back the original formula of Assassin's Creed, where you know, where you actually go do assassinations. Like, bring that back.
I will say Assassin's Creed 2 is still my favorite game out of the series just because of the story and how you watched Ezio grow up. Just the have a more impactful story, in my opinion.
Right. Like I said, I can't speak to the recent one. CB said the story in Valhalla was pretty cool.
I haven't played Valhalla, so...
Valhalla is a masterpiece.
I'm going to have to sit down with you and give you a list of the games that I need to catch up on and tell me which one I should start with.
Valhalla
over, what was the one we were talking about earlier? Doom. Far Cry 6.
Played it? Didn't you play Doom?
No. I played it for like an hour.
I'm ashamed to know you, sir.
Doom, Cyberpunk. Cyberpunk is another one. Avengers. I've got a list of games.
You can completely bypass Avengers.
Okay. But then there's games I want to play that I just want to go back and actually replay. Like I started Ocarina of Time today just because I wanted to chill for a minute, and I like that. I
mean, you can beat that in like 10 hours.
I'm gonna be on vacation. I'll be sitting on the deck of a cruise ship playing Ocarina of Time with my earbuds. Screw it. I'm just going to put it with the no headphones and have it loud and let everybody know I'm playing Zelda.
Just some dude sitting in the back of the plane. You nerd!
I'll take it. I don't care. I'll be living my best life. But Assassin's Creed. I feel guilty saying that it's, getting stale because I didn't finish the last one. But as much as I love the new formula, I miss the old formula. I really miss the old formula. Like the actual, okay, here's the dude that you're going to kill. You need to figure out a way to go kill him. And then the whole animation where you're talking to him as he's dying. And then,
why you did this.
I just
want more Roger Craig Smith. Don't lie.
I just love that. I need to go back to that episode where he actually said that for us and record it and make that like a ringtone on my phone.
A text message.
Yeah, whenever someone so good. So good. Far Cry, I do not want them to touch. I love that formula. I think it's great.
You didn't even play 6.
I know. Maybe that's the one I should do. I played it a goodly amount. Mm-hmm. What about you guys? Do you have it? I mean, I'll stay mine in a second. But Alyssa, do you have one? Series that are getting stale or defunct?
I really can't think of any because I usually just don't play series that I get tired of.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard to think. I did get tired of the Call of Duty franchise, mostly because I played the single player campaigns. I have not played the newest Modern Warfare.
It's really good.
Yeah, I want a really good campaign Call of Duty. So I will play that just to experience the campaign.
That night vision section is amazing.
I'm not gonna lie, Alyssa. Like they have corrected the problem.
Okay.
Yeah.
The Modern Warfare remake is a gem.
Yeah. Really good.
I guess I want something like in the vein of Spec Ops, The Line. I love that game.
Yeah.
It's not quite that in terms of its story, but
it's real good.
It goes some places. I will say that.
Okay, I definitely have to check Modern Warfare out.
That was one of the first games I played on Xbox One where I kind of was like, that looks real. Like when it's in night vision, and you can't, you can kind of mask the fact that you're playing a game instead of, I don't know. It looked, if someone had walked in while I was playing that section, I think they would have believed that I was watching a movie instead of playing a game. Just say that. Anyway, I keep getting off on these rabbit trails. CB, how about you?
Like I really, me, I'll play anything.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care. So, but as far as stale goes, luckily, almost everything that I think has been getting stale, they've been correcting the problem.
Right, yeah.
Like Call of Duty, they've been correcting the problem. Far Cry, I actually enjoyed Far Cry 6 just like more than Far Cry 5 overall.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think Far Cry 5 had the better ending.
Far Cry 5 had a great ending.
Assassin's Creed, I love the direction they're going in.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. You know what? It's time to let The Legend of Zelda die.
Oh, geez, did you really?
Yeah. Let's make Link talk.
Oh, interesting. I'm okay with changing it up, honestly.
Well,
I mean, they kind of did with Breath of the Wild.
That's the problem, is like, you can't even say Legend of Zelda because almost every game they've made has been almost a complete change from the last one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, look at Zelda 1 and Zelda 2, vastly different games.
Yeah.
I think it's funny that Tim put on here Splinter Cell. I think to keep that series from getting stale, we just need to get another one. Why wasn't that announced? Can we go back to, I think it was Sean's question that said, like, what were you hoping was going to get announced? I'm pretty sure Zach was hoping for another Splinter Cell.
Man, I would really love to find something that I'm like, you know what, just let it go. You know what? I got you.
Okay.
Remasters. Let them die.
I'm sure Aaron agrees with you wholeheartedly on that one. He hates remasters.
For the most, like, okay, just a spit polish remaster, let them die. Stop doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Remasters and ports, stop.
Ground
Reboots,
up, like Resident Evil 2.
Reboots, okay.
Yeah.
Remasters, not okay.
Especially when you're going to charge me $70 for them.
Yeah?
Yeah.
But
only for the first half.
Dude, we've discussed this. You're not getting the first half of the game.
It's still just like made me mad when I heard that.
When I first talked to CB about that, we were talking off air, and he was convinced that because they put part 1 in it, that they're only giving you the first half of the game. But no, the second game was called part 2, man. So.
But like, it didn't register for me at first.
Yeah.
So I was full on just like table flip mode. I'm like, if you're going to do this, no, like, I'm done with you.
I don't know any others either, really. I'm kind of like with Alyssa, where if it gets stale to me, I just don't play it anymore. But then I'm also a hypocrite because I played Dead Space 3, which I didn't love, but I still felt compelled to play it because I love the series.
But they killed the series.
I don't know if that game is what killed the series, or if it was the rush job, or the fact that their studio got shuttered because they got purchased. So, and now they're remaking their game.
But see, it's so weird because majority of your long running series, they self-correct.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you look at Final Fantasy, they correct the issues from previous games. Call of Duty, I mean, before the Modern Warfare remake, yeah, I was like, burn it, let it die.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's time. Especially after like Ghosts and Infinite.
Modern Warfare 3.
Modern Warfare, we still can't use Roman numerals.
Well, that was an online one, wasn't it?
Yeah, but it was just like, no, let it go.
Modern Warfare, I.
But I mean, like Assassin's Creed, like the old formula was getting stale,
right?
Like all the way through 3, and then they're like, "Hey, Assassin's Creed 4, Black Flag." Everybody loved the sailing section in 3. Let's make that a full-on game,
and then release it in 6 years.
And then they did it again with Rogue.
Right. Rogue was a pretty good game too. I liked Rogue.
Yeah, Rogue was solid. And then they were like, okay, well, everybody's bored with this. And then they just completely gutted the franchise and started fresh.
Cool. The only one
Well, actually, wait, no. I forgot there was 2 other games that were really, really bad. Actually, 3. No, 2. Syndicate and Unity.
Syndicate wasn't bad.
It was terrible.
No, it wasn't. That was the one where you got to play as the female. And then she had that, like, that cane that she would swing around. The only thing that sucked about Syndicate, the only thing that sucked about that game was the carriage missions. It felt like you were playing Crazy Taxi in London.
The carriage missions, the completely and utterly broken environment, the constant bugs, where your face would just disappear and you would be floating eyeballs. Do I need to go further?
That was Unity.
There was both of them, but it was more prevalent in Syndicate.
I don't think so. I think
the problem with Unity was the 4-player missions that everybody just trolled everybody.
Yeah, that's true too. But I beat Syndicate. I did not finish Unity.
I beat Unity and Syndicate. I loved the stories, but the gameplay overall was trash.
Remember those follow missions in Assassin's Creed that you used to do?
Oh,
I hated this so much.
I know.
Because you're focusing so much on where to go that you couldn't even actually listen to the conversation.
But I mean, Origins, those, because other than Final Fantasy and Link to the Past, there aren't too many that are still going.
Mm-hmm.
Is Metal Gear officially dead as a series?
I don't know. I don't know how it ended with 5, so I didn't finish it.
There was a game after 5. Metal Gear Survive.
I don't remember.
That was
where you had to
game.
buy additional save slots.
Oh my goodness.
That was right as Kojima was leaving.
Well, yeah, because if Konami owns that IP and Kojima is at his own thing,
the one who made it.
Yeah.
I'm willing to bet at this point in time, Metal Gear pretty much has to be dead
unless he purchases it, but he's got to,
that's a lot of cash to pony.
Huge purchase. So, Alyssa, did you have it? No, I got you already, right?
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you to everybody for all the questions. That was a fun week of community questions. Stay tuned. Next week, we may either go with Aaron's topic or we may go with Paul Hines' topic as well. I kind of want to be there for at least one of them, and I know I'm not going to be here next week. So that's going to do it for this episode of The Gaming Outsider. CB, any parting words or recommendations before we get out of here?
It's 4th of July week. Don't blow off your fingers. Bad choice.
I mean, by the time they hear this, it will be way past 4th of July. But
guess what? You can still remember it because people buy fireworks.
Oh, that's a good point. Get them on sale and then shoot them off. Yeah.
That's why I said it's 4th of July week.
Gotcha.
Don't blow off your fingers.
I'm wondering if I'm going to be able to sleep tonight because my neighborhood likes to fire them off in December. So I know that this month.
Yeah, see, that's the problem. Everybody buys fireworks now. You got them all year long.
That's a good point. Alyssa?
I love the final 2 episodes of Stranger Things Season 4. Yes. I won't spoil anything, but they were incredible.
I liked it as well.
I was going to say, I did the math on that.
Mm-hmm.
Episode 7, the last 3 episodes, that's almost 6 hours of Stranger Things.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, even though the last 3 episodes of Season 4 were feature length, they didn't really feel feature length because they were so interesting that they kept you. It just kept going. It didn't feel like you're watching a movie length episode of a TV show.
Right. All right. I don't really have anything to recommend. I've been reading so much of that audiobook I mentioned last week, the Sword of Truth series, Wizard's First Rule. Have you ever read that, CB? Did we talk about that last week? I don't know if you like fantasy, but I kind of want to.
This conversation. I like fantasy books.
Yeah, I should give you my Audible account so you can listen to this book because at the end of
I've got 12 credits. I'm good.
Check it out. It's only about 27 hours, and it goes to some places at the end of this book where there are these characters that are almost dominatrix characters that put the main character into submission in interesting ways. To
you know what, I will.
I think you sold him on it.
Sword of Truth if you download Homeland by R.A. Salvatore.
Okay, it's going to be a minute because I'm on pause on Audible right now because I have so many backed up, and I didn't want to be paying for it each month if I didn't have any books to read.
It's fair enough. I just keep it's like, here's your credit. Download a book. I'll get to it at some point.
Well, you got 18 credits you're sitting on, so go buy Wizard's First Rule, and let me know.
All
what
right,
you think.
I'll do it tonight.
I've only got like 6 hours left, and I'm gonna go right into the next one, which I believe is Stone of Tears, but I can't remember. So, anyway, everybody out there, thank you so much for listening to The Gaming Outsider. It is produced by Nate Lucas. All the music you hear is written and performed by Grant Henry of Stemmage and Metroid Metal. Please be sure to email us if you have any questions or concerns. Our address is feedback@thegamingoutsider.com. Until next week, I'm Scott Clark with Chris Behrensmeyer and Alyssa White, and we are The Gaming Outsider. And remember, there's no such thing as a bad game, just games that aren't for you.